and scored on a halfback pass 2 days after he was born. Finds Christian Leitner with a 50.
Still on his feet. Has blockers now. He's dancing his way for the touchdown. Even miracle. Yes.
I don't believe what I just saw.
What's going on, everybody? This is Rob Johnson of Rob Johnson Media, and this being the No BS Sports Zone. We're going to give you tonight just, in my opinion, who's going to win the game of some of these bowl games. Now, when we start getting to the top four, things like that, I'm going to give more of an in-depth analysis later on next week. So we're just giving you tonight the basics of who's going to win, who's not going to win, and we'll tally it up when the bowl season is over. So let's start with Middle Tennessee versus Toledo. I have Toledo winning this football game. In the Bahamas Bowl, next we have the Cure Bowl, Northern Illinois versus Coastal Carolina. I'm going to give it to Northern Illinois. The Boca Raton Bowl between Appalachian State and Western Kentucky. I'd say Appalachian State in that game. The Celebration Bowl between Jackson State versus South Carolina State. I'd say Jackson State. The New Mexico Bowl, we have Fresno State versus UTEP. Should be a decent game. I'm going to give it to UTEP. The Independence Bowl, BYU versus UAB. Definitely BYU in this big time. The Linden Tree Bowl between Eastern Michigan and Liberty. I would say Liberty in this. Liberty has some players that need to step up big, so I say Liberty. The LA Bowl between Oregon State and Utah State. I'd say Oregon State. Oregon State's still a pretty decent team out of the Pac-12. New Orleans Bowl between Louisiana versus Marshall. I think it's going to be a good game between these two teams. Marshall's a pretty decent team, but I think Louisiana will take this, especially being in Louisiana. Myrtle Beach Bowl between Tulsa and Old Dominion. Old Dominion has come along. Old Dominion in this area has really come along, so I think Old Dominion can take that game from Tulsa. The famous Idaho Potatoes Bowl, Kent State versus Wyoming. I would say I give it to Wyoming. I give it to Wyoming. The Frisco Bowl between San Diego State and University of Texas San Antonio. Definitely San Diego State. San Diego State has had a really good season. They're ranked and they've played very well this year, so I give that to them, easily. Armed Forces Bowl, Missouri versus Army. Both teams have kind of struggled this year. I give it to Missouri, SEC team. They should be able to pull this out. Next game we have, and I'm sorry, that's the Armed Forces Bowl. The Armed Forces Bowl between Missouri versus Auburn. The Armed Forces Bowl between Missouri and Army. The Frisco Classic, Football Classic, is between Miami of Ohio and North Texas. I think Miami of Ohio will win this game. The Gasparilla Bowl between Florida versus UCF. Who knows with Florida, man? I'm gonna give it to UCF because I just don't know what's going on with Florida right now. The Hawaii Bowl between Memphis versus Hawaii. Memphis is a very good team, so I'm going to give it to Memphis. The Camelo Bowl between Ball State and Georgia State. I'd say Georgia State in this game. The Quick Lane Bowl between Western Michigan and Nevada in this game, definitely. Military Bowl, East Carolina versus Boston College. East Carolina, to me, is a decent team in the conference they play in, so I'll give it to East Carolina over Boston College, who struggled a little bit this season. Houston versus Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl. Definitely Houston. I think Houston has a dynamic offense. You saw that Cincinnati could stop them, but still, Houston is still a very dynamic team. The First Responders Bowl between Air Force versus Louisville. I have Louisville in this football game. The Liberty Bowl between Texas Tech and Mississippi State. I will give this game to Mississippi State. Holiday Bowl between NC State versus UCLA. This Holiday Bowl is going to be one hell of a game. Don't miss this game. I'm going to give it to UCLA. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl between Minnesota versus West Virginia. I'm going to give it to Minnesota. The Fenway Bowl between Virginia and SMU. This should be called the track meet game. I'm going to give it to UVA in this game. Don't let us down, UVA. Pinstripe Bowl between Virginia Tech and Maryland. I'm going to give this game to Maryland as I think their offense can be dynamic. The Cheez-It Bowl between Clemson and Iowa State. I think that Clemson kind of makes a statement, leading into next year. So I'm going to give this game to Clemson by big. The Alamo Bowl between Oregon and Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's going to come out, make a statement, to Lincoln Riley and the country, and I think they're going to beat Oregon pretty good. I think Oregon's suffering a little more from what they lost compared to what Oklahoma lost, because Oklahoma is such a brand that they'll recover. The Duke Mayo Bowl between North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm going to give North Carolina. I think they can beat South Carolina by at least 10 points in this game. The Music City Bowl between Tennessee and Purdue. I'm going to give this game to Purdue. I think that they are a decent team, and Tennessee's been a little inconsistent all year, so definitely Purdue in this game. The Peach Bowl between Michigan State and Pittsburgh. I think Michigan State comes out and makes a statement. I think they run the ball. Pittsburgh is a decent team, but if Pickett doesn't play a good game, they're going to lose. So I definitely will give this game to Michigan State. The Las Vegas Bowl between Wisconsin and Arizona State. I'll give this to Wisconsin. The Gator Bowl between Wake Forest and Texas A&M. I think Wake Forest can take down A&M. I think that they have a dynamic offense, and I just don't think that A&M is I don't think they're that good. I think they're just holding on, and I still don't understand how they're ranked at this point, because even though they beat Bama, they've lost some very questionable games. The Washington State versus Miami, the Sun Bowl. I'll give this to Miami, and not because I'm a Miami fan. I just think Miami is coming on at the right time. Their program is in just great transition right now. You got the quarterback Van Dyke. You got so much coming back next year. You got recruits coming in. So this is a big momentum thing for Miami. Arizona Bowl between Central Michigan versus Boise State. I think that Boise State will take this game pretty easily. The Cotton Bowl Classic. That is your first college football semifinal between Alabama and Cincinnati. I won't pick that yet. Then you have the Orange Bowl semifinal between Michigan and Georgia. Again, I won't pick that game because I'm going to get more in depth into that next week. We have the Outback Bowl starting on January 1st between Arkansas and Penn State. I'll give this to Arkansas. Citrus Bowl, Iowa versus Kentucky. I think Kentucky can pull this game out. I think a lot of people really haven't watched Kentucky this year, but I think Kentucky can pull out, especially, and with everything going on with the tragedy, with the tornado and everything, I think this team will rally. Fiesta Bowl, Notre Dame versus Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State's pissed. I think they're mad. Notre Dame's number one safety isn't playing this game. So I think Oklahoma State makes a statement and beats Notre Dame pretty good in this game. Rose Bowl, Ohio State versus Utah. This is going to be a hell of a game. This is going to be a hell of a Rose Bowl. And I think that Ohio State is going to come out and they're going to be hungry to get back on the field. But I'm telling you, I think Utah can win this football game. So watch out for Utah. Sugar Bowl, Baylor versus Ole Miss. This is going to be another track meet. This Sugar Bowl is going to be terrific. And I'm going to have to give the edge to Baylor. From what I saw in the Big 12 championship game, I think this team, man, has the juice. Ole Miss is going to score some points, but so is Baylor. We have Texas Bowl between Kansas State and LSU. I give it to Kansas State. Why not? And that will conclude our bowl games. And like I said, guys, next week I will be talking about the top 4 in the college football playoff. Until then, you guys enjoy. Hope you enjoyed the No BS Sports Zone with Rob Johnson. You guys have a good night, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And make sure that you also like, share, and subscribe to my other channel, GS&E, which is my video game funny channel. This is my serious channel. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's get those subscriptions up.